Do I have to follow all 613 commandments? What laws still apply today? Well, which of God's laws are you wanting to break today? The overriding answer is yes, we are to obey all the laws of Moses. They still apply today. Yeshua says in Matthew 5 that they continue to be enforced for his followers. He makes no distinction between whether his followers are Jew or Gentile, and indeed around 1/3 of all the laws of Moses are specifically for the Levite priests, as they are instructions for things that only they are allowed to do. Sometimes they are called the ceremonial laws, but in reality, no one today can do those laws perfectly, since the priesthood doesn't exist, and even if it did, there is no temple in Jerusalem for them to perform those tasks. The other 2/3 of the laws are generally for both the priests and therefore for all God worshippers to obey, since we have been grafted into those covenants between God and Israel by means of our trust in Messiah, Yeshua. So the issue is not if we are to obey them, but rather how in this modern world. Yeshua showed us the blueprint in his Sermon on the Mount. He showed us that behind every law there was an underlying principle, and that principle was the point. One of the foundational points for understanding the law and carrying it out is that each of the laws is connected to one or the other of the 10 commandments. Each of the 613 or so laws is a case example of how it looks to carry out one or another of the 10 commandments in a society. Now, no doubt, many of the laws given over 3,000 years ago are difficult to directly translate to the 21st century in precisely the same way. The law of Moses was given in the cultural terms of a very ancient Middle Eastern society and in ways those people understood and could do. And yet, some laws translate across the centuries and the cultures quite easily, while others aren't so easy. The kosher food laws are plain and rather simple. The law not to murder is easy once we understand that the command about no unjustifiable killing that originates from our anger and hate is the issue. So what our challenge is to learn and discover what the purpose, the principle, the spirit of each law was, and to carry it out in the context of that principle and spirit. It's not an easy task, but it needs to be at the center of our lives to do so. The solution is not to simply decide that the lost, dead, and gone. God has plainly told us that the only way to show him love is to obey him, and the only way to obey him is to obey his laws and commandments.